Jealousy. 7 signs to help you trust your relationship and stop insecurity. Written by Judy Larson. Narrated by Joanne Trimble. Introduction. So you've met the love of your life and you're going to live happily ever after, right? Wait, who's that person your life partner is talking to? They seem to know each other very well. They're laughing together. Oh, they're touching each other's shoulders. They can't do that. Uh-oh. Put on the brakes right there. The green-eyed monster seems to have taken hold of you. When you saw your partner with another person, did you feel anxious or threatened that you were going to be replaced somehow? Were you suspicious about the whole setup? Did you think as if they were laughing about you behind your back? Did you feel betrayed? Did the witch from Snow White give you a poisonous apple and then run away? If you answered yes, then you have fallen victim to the powerful and often toxic emotion called jealousy. Jealous people are usually caught in a negative cycle of distrust, hurt, anger, sadness, resentment, and even violence. It does not feel nice, does it? Do not worry, you're not the only one in the world who feels this way. The good news is that you can overcome jealousy and even use it to make a better version of you. Are you ready to take back control of your life? Do you want to be free from all the unnecessary pain and hurt? Then now is the time to stop the cycle of negativity in your life. This book can help you understand and accept jealousy, recognize the signs of jealousy, take control of your emotions, defeat jealousy and its negative effects on your life. Be empowered to use jealousy as a positive building block in your life. Learn how to have better and healthier relationships. Read on and take control of your life. Stop letting jealousy wreak havoc in your life. You can do it. Chapter 1. Getting to know jealousy. Congratulations! You've made the right decision to read this book. You took the first step to taking back your life. This book will help you gain a better understanding of why jealousy had taken a hold in your life. In this chapter, you will be given a background on jealousy, which will lead you to gain a better understanding of what it is, how and why it happens, from when did it start, and its effects on your life. In order to overcome something, you must first get to know it, learn to understand it, and realize why it is affecting you. So, what is jealousy? Jealousy is an age-old, powerful, and oftentimes overwhelming emotion that can affect anyone, at any time, in any situation. You can be old, young, rich, poor, female, male, the list goes on, and jealousy can still take root in you. More formally, jealousy is an emotion resulting from an anticipated threat of losing something or someone already in your possession to another individual. Many times it brings about feelings of suspicion that you are going to be betrayed, which in turn spurs on your competitive side. For instance, you cannot believe that your partner is just friends with his or her ex, even though they are just that. Also, even when there is no real competition, you then try to emulate or even upstage the ex because you think this will cause your partner to choose you over the ex. Is jealousy the same as envy? Do not confuse jealousy with envy. These two are usually linked together, but they are quite distinct from each other. Envy means wanting what someone else has. It usually arises from discontent with your own situation. This emotion focuses more on coveting, such as seeing your neighbor's new car and wishing it was yours. So where and when does jealousy start? Love between two people usually begins with feelings of rightness and perfection. You feel that the other person is perfect for you, although what you do not realize is that people can change at any time. You could have invested in your relationship for as long as 10 years, and then somewhere down the road, you feel like something is different. You then start to doubt and believe that something wrong is happening. You need to realize that things and people change. Your partner could be tired of your relationship, or maybe you have changed also, and thus the dynamics of your relationship have changed. It just depends on how you view any change to your relationship. Is jealousy something to be ashamed of? Yes and no. Jealousy is a natural occurrence. It is actually ingrained in human nature. It is safe to say that most, if not everyone, has experienced this emotion at one point in their lives to a degree. In small doses, jealousy can even bring excitement to you and your partner. For instance, you may feel flattered that your partner gets jealous when other people watch you walk past. You may take it to mean that your partner thinks you are beautiful enough to garner such passionate feelings in him or her. Jealousy can be shameful once it becomes persistent and uncontrollable to the point of blinding you to what is right and what is wrong. For example, you feel irrationally jealous of your partner's sibling when they spend time together, just because you want your partner all to yourself. Why does jealousy happen? In a nutshell, jealousy occurs because we are afraid of losing what we have. It is usually a learned behavior. Your collective experiences in life have influenced and molded you to who you are today. Therefore, these factors determine how you react and feel in certain situations. For example, you might find yourself snooping through your current partner's cell phone because your ex-partner cheated on you and you want to make sure it does not happen to you again. Sometimes there is a valid and rational reason for jealousy, but there are also times when there is only a perceived threat of loss and there is no real cause to feel jealous. It could also be caused deliberately or unintentionally. Sad to say, there are people who delight in making others feel jealous, either by showing excessive affection towards someone else or by betraying a loved one's trust just because they can. On the other hand, a person's insecurity, low self-esteem, and general feelings of inadequacy can lead to imaginary problems that result in irrational jealousy. Too much time on your hands can also cause you to think too much until you start to make up things in your mind. Am I the only one who gets jealous? No. Jealousy is not unique to anyone. As mentioned, it can be felt by anybody involved in a relationship. Even successful people with high IQs, high-paying jobs, powerful positions, or even those in current stable relationships can get jealous at one point in their lives. It is all just a matter of the person knowing how to handle the emotion effectively. Is jealousy dangerous? Yes. Unrestrained jealousy frequently branches out to many other negative emotions, such as resentment, hatred, anger, rage, fear, anxiety, grief, and helplessness. One of the main effects of these emotions is insecurity, which is a lack of confidence in oneself. Jealousy can be like poison to your relationships. It is a homewrecker. It is a thief of your potential happiness. Unchecked, it might even lead to physical violence. There are many cases where people go to great lengths just to preserve what they have. Some even commit murder because of jealousy. Do I have the right to be jealous? Yes and no. There are times when there is nothing actually wrong, but there are also times when your instincts are correct. You find out your partner is lying and cheating on you. You need to assess situations individually and see if you have a valid reason or not. Can I control jealousy? Honestly, it can be hard to control, but you should do yourself a favor and do not let it overwhelm your life. You have the choice to let it empower you to better yourself. There are a wealth of information and tools found in this book to help you. Use them, and you can rise from jealousy and its ill effects. Also take comfort that you are not the only one. So yes, you can definitely control jealousy and beat it at its own game. The next few chapters will explore and discuss in depth the many signs of jealousy. The different topics will be explained and broken down into how they manifest in people's behaviors, what the consequences of these behaviors are, and plenty of tips will be given on how to overcome the signs of jealousy. Chapter 2. Sign 1. Feeling unworthy of love? Look in the mirror and be honest. What do you see? Do you see a genuinely happy person or someone hiding behind a mask? Do you feel unworthy of love? This chapter will discuss how your inner feelings and perception of yourself affect your relationships. When you are in a relationship, especially an intimate one, you tend to open yourself up, which can make you feel vulnerable. Finding the right balance between loving yourself and your partner can be tricky. Vulnerability leaves you open to a range of powerful emotions, and if you are predisposed to feeling insecure, then you and your partner are in for an emotional roller coaster ride. Insecurity usually goes hand in hand with jealousy. It is when you feel inadequate about yourself and you try to project these negative feelings onto other people. Your self-esteem is low, and in your eyes you are not worth much. So you always ask yourself, how can anyone love me? This attribute originates from within yourself and negatively influences how you react to certain situations. You may feel that you are not worthy of someone's love. You feel that someone is always better than you, and you are self-critical. Sometimes you are your own worst enemy. Some people let their jealousy take complete control of them, that they have failed to take care of themselves. They gain weight due to emotional eating, or they do not have the energy to get out of bed, and they do not groom themselves anymore. Does this sound like you? On the other hand, you could learn the loss of confidence in yourself from your experiences. Someone in your past might have treated you in a way that had emotionally scarred you. For example, your parents might have gone through a divorce when you were young. You lived with your father, and he remarried shortly after. New siblings came along, and you got neglected by your father. From this experience, what you probably took away was that love is unstable, and once someone new comes along, you will be cast off. How does insecurity manifest in behaviors? When you are insecure in a relationship, you are always afraid of being abandoned by your partner. You always doubt yourself because of the lack of confidence in yourself. You are your worst critic. Sometimes you start to feel so insecure that you just want to hide away because you feel like things are never going to get better. You find yourself always seeking reassurance from your partner, and you always want to feel needed. Paranoia also shows up in your behavior because when you doubt yourself, chances are you also doubt others, especially your partner. You are always anxious and apprehensive about your status in life. You always think to yourself, does my partner still love me or not? Am I enough? What are the consequences of insecurity? The more you believe something about yourself, the more you believe it is a normal thing for everyone else. Could you be projecting your negative feelings onto your partner, thus provoking your own feelings of insecurity and jealousy? Sometimes when your brain starts to believe something, it also starts to create imagined scenarios in your mind that can cause havoc in your relationship. In this event, you will also block any kind of reasonable explanations that do not match your inner belief system. This, of course, leads to communication problems. You cannot have a proper discussion when insecurity blankets over your relationship. When open communication is lacking, it breaks down the relationship and drives a wedge between you and your partner, oftentimes driving away your partner. You feel less connected to your partner, then the jealousy cycle starts again. Having such a low opinion of yourself can also be unattractive, because when you have all these negative thoughts in your head, it shows in your physical appearance and demeanor. Be careful. The way you present yourself will have an effect on other people. If you think you are not worthy, they might just start to believe you. When that happens, you start to repel people because of your negativity. The outcome is you delve deeper into your misery and you become lonely and depressed. How do you overcome insecurity? First, you should learn to take ownership of your emotions. Accept all aspects of yourself, the good and the bad. Focus on your good qualities and use these to build yourself up. You can even create a mantra like, I'm a good person and I'm worthy of love. Say it in front of a mirror 10 times straight, 3 times a day. Eventually, it will become a habit and you will start to believe it. When you accept yourself, you should also learn to accept others. You must understand that everyone is unique and not everyone thinks as you do. Do not think you're going to be discarded just because your partner is talking to another person. Learn how to verbalize your emotions and feelings eloquently. Peaceful and calm words have never harmed anyone. Encourage open communication between you and your partner. Do not be judgmental. Make a list of the pros and cons of your situation. Analyze why you are feeling this way. Then make an action plan on how to resolve any problems. Seek support and advice from your family and friends. Let them help uplift you with their love and affection. If no one is available, you can always seek counseling advice from a professional relationship expert. Do you have any special interests? You can take extra classes to hone your skills and upgrade your marketability. Achieving something tangible like completing a course can boost your confidence and increase your self-worth exponentially. Have you let yourself go? Were you caught up in your insecurities that you have neglected your body? Go and sign up for a gym membership, or for a quick fix, go get a new haircut and get a new look. Being independent means being free and empowered. Learn how to rely on yourself instead of others. Assert yourself and be in control of your own life. Maybe you could sign up for driving lessons if you've not learned how to drive yet. Prioritize yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. Learn to love yourself first and stop relying on your partner to give you affection. Once you have done that, whatever hold someone has on you will be dramatically lessened. Moreover, self-confidence is an attractive quality. Your partner will find it sexy. Face your fears. Go forth and conquer this nasty beast inside of you. If you feel that your relationship has reached soaring levels of toxicity, do yourself a favor and give yourself some breathing space. Live your life for yourself until you learn how to be content with yourself. If your partner is the right one, he or she will be waiting when you are ready. Happiness is a choice. Choose to be happy. Call your friends. Get out and have fun. In moderation, of course. You can also do other things that will bring you joy. Help out in a shelter or volunteer in the community. Helping somebody else will satisfy your need to be wanted. You will also see many kinds of people in different situations, and you might realize that your situation is not so bad after all. Chapter 3. Sign number 2. Control freak. Are you the type of person who wants everything to be done your way? Do you feel the need to dictate what your partner can and cannot do? Are you afraid that your relationship will be in danger if you let it run its free course? Do you feel jealous when your partner does not give you your expected level of affection and attention? If these sound like you, then you may just be what they call a control freak. This chapter will explore all about control and the different ways it can affect your relationship. In personal relationships, the term control freak refers to people who feel like they have the right to control every detail of the relationship. They have also had the need to mold their loved ones into their ideal partners. For example, they only want their partners to wear a certain type of clothing, or they want to dictate how their partners act with certain people. They are also under the illusion that if you control people, then you can surely control outcomes to your liking. It gives them a heightened sense of power and authority, which in turn feeds the altered reality they sometimes have in their minds. Ultimately, they get jealous when things do not go their way. Control, when exercised responsibly, can actually be a good thing. Your partner might be bad with finances and cannot stop spending on unnecessary items. If you are capable, you may take charge of the financial situation and control your partner's spending habits. In this case, you are actually helping your partner in a positive way, and this is a good example of control being used in a reasonable and productive manner. However, you have to keep in mind that when you are in a relationship with someone, both of you have the right to be your own persons. What happens in many relationships is that as time goes on, one of you might begin to feel as if you own the other person, and that you have the right to control every aspect of your partner's life. A trait that is commonly linked with control is possessiveness. It is also derived from a need to dominate others in order to control another person. It is caused by a selfish need in people to keep their possessions, including people, to themselves. They probably did not like sharing back in kindergarten. Caution is recommended because some actually mistake control and possessiveness for love. They feel like their partner cares for them because they innocently think that their partner only wants their love and attention, not realizing that they are just being manipulated. Have you experienced this in your relationship? Perhaps you do not want your partner to spend time with friends or family. Have you ever discouraged this by saying that your partner loves you less if he or she spends time with other people? Be warned, you are being manipulative and controlling, and you might be ruining your relationship. How does the need to control manifest in behaviors? The need to control manifests into many ugly behaviors, such as wanting to monopolize your partner's attention, spying through their belongings, and isolating your partner from family and friends. You might also feel upset when you are not being included. You complain about your partner not spending enough time with you, even if you spend most of your time together, and basically just trying to run the other person's life. Controlling people also tend to have short tempers, especially when things do not go their way. They become moody, highly irritable, and of course, very jealous. They may also speak to people in a condescending way, believing that they are better than anyone. Making people feel inferior is one of their pastimes, to make themselves feel superior, and to make their partner more dependent on them. Control freaks often force their partners to do something that will fit their ideals, even if their partners do not like it. This can be as strange as dictating what foods their partner will eat. They will play on their partner's emotions and withdraw affection until their partner gives in to them. They are also never at fault. If something goes wrong, they always blame someone else. This is why they also have mediocre problem-solving skills. It is hard for them to handle the emotions associated with not getting the outcome they had mapped in their mind. Their usual solution to problems is to blame the other person. What are the consequences of controlling behavior? Animosity is free to reign in a relationship where one person dominates the other and there is no give and take. The inferior party will eventually feel suffocated and rebel against the dominant one. When that happens, what control freaks do not want to happen will happen. The affected partner will leave, and even if they do not leave yet, they will lose respect and refuse to cooperate with the dominant partner. Since they have low tolerance for not getting their way, they are vulnerable to succumbing to mental health issues such as depression and obsessive-compulsive disorders. There are no winners in the breakdown of relationships and destruction of one's health. Is it really worth having your way, but losing what you are afraid of losing in the first place? How do you overcome the need to control? Good news. There are ways to tame down your need to control and preserve your relationship. Admit that you are controlling. Take the step to realize why you feel the need to control. Was it because of a past experience? If so, analyze what happened in the past and work out what happened and why. Understand yourself better. Identify triggers of your need to control. Is one of them the fear of losing your loved one? If that is the case, then you need to reevaluate your behavior. You could very well lose what you are most afraid of losing because of your controlling ways. Stop. Listen. Communicate with your partner freely. Let him or her talk and do not interrupt. You can say your piece after. Do not let jealousy cloud your mind. Encourage a free-flow discussion with no criticism. Change your mindset and accept situations as they come. Go with the flow and be more flexible. If controllers truly love their partners, they will let them be free with their choices. Partners should be trusted to know what is good for them individually. You will be surprised. Your partner might even reward you with admiration for the positive changes evident in you. Learn to manage your anxiety by going to therapy or a support group. You could also try talking to someone who will keep your story confidential. Bottling it up inside can cause you to explode one day. Having a sympathetic ear to listen to your problems can also be comforting for you. Change the way you talk to people. You can still say your opinion, just do not force others to accept it if it is against their views. No one wants to be forced to do something they do not want to do. You must learn to respect other people. Chapter 4. Sign number 3. Caught up in the past. Are you hung up on your partner's past relationships? Do you find yourself incessantly asking your partner about them so you can compare your relationship? Do you feel as if you have to measure up against the ex? This chapter aims to help you realize that what happened in the past should stay in the past. It will explain why digging up the past is not a good thing for your relationship and what you should do to avoid doing so. People often forget that when they first met their partners, they were attracted to qualities they saw there and then. They engaged in a relationship with them for who and what they were at that point in time, without knowing about their past. So you must remember not to be jealous of past relationships, because whatever happened back then obviously did not work, and that is why they no longer exist in the present. On the other hand, if your partner committed a previous indiscretion against you, then you need to ask yourself why you still feel jealous about this. There must be a reason why you are still together, right? If you made the decision to accept it, then you must follow through. Keep in mind that if something is no longer relevant, then it will not be helpful in your current situation. How does being caught up in the past manifest in behaviors? Digging up the past actually stems from insecurity and jealousy. You are not secure in your current relationship for some reason. You are continually bringing up the ex, yours or your partner's, and hashing out every detail of past relationships. You may also keep comparing yourself to the ex. It can seem like you are on an archaeological dig mission, asking your partner anything and everything about the ex, such as intimacy levels, personal conversations, what they did together, and so on. You might also be unnecessarily inquiring about the ex's personal attributes. Was he or she funny, cute, tall, understanding, rich, poor? You do not need to know these. Then, when you inevitably have arguments, you use information about the past in your current arguments. Can you see that that is such a vicious cycle? Ask yourself why you are so fixated on the past. Is your partner doing something to make you do so, or is it just you? Why are you so afraid to lose your loved one? Maybe you also have some negative thoughts you are projecting towards your partner? What are the consequences of being caught up in the past? Imagined scenarios could turn into reality. If you are continuously mentioning someone, you are keeping that person in your partner's everyday thoughts. This is dangerous, because you could be inadvertently reminding your partner about the good old times with his or her ex. Your worst nightmare might just come true, and your partner could go back to the ex. Bringing up the past also creates a harmful cycle of petty arguments, which are detrimental to your relationship. It prevents proper resolution of your problems. Moreover, when you keep comparing yourself to your partner's past lovers, you are actually belittling and demeaning yourself in the worst possible way. You could be forcing your partner to think that you and the ex are on the same level right now, and since you are so annoyingly insistent, he might begin to think that the ex is the better choice. How do you overcome being caught up in the past? Stop comparing yourself to your partner's ex. Remember and understand that you are with your partner now. There's a reason why they did not stay together. You are two different persons. You must extricate yourself from this behavior and move your relationship back into a two-way party. Stop comparing your ex to your current partner. They are also not the same people. You broke up with your ex for a reason too. Bear in mind that whatever your ex did for you in the past did not work or was not enough to keep you two together. Focus on the present and have regular healthy evaluations of your relationship. You could set a time and place that are just for the two of you. Discuss any questions you may have in a diplomatic manner. Resolve issues immediately. Do not allow them to linger. It is best to discuss any problems before going to bed. Do not go to bed angry. Tomorrow might be too late. Make a rule not to bring up past arguments and past lovers. Banish them from your mind. They are a waste of your brain cells. In particular, you need to stop bringing past lovers into your present lives because they probably do not even remember you. Do not give them the power to break your relationship. Make a list of what you are doubtful or jealous about regarding the past. Show it to your partner and open a calm and peaceful discussion. Explain to your partner the reasons why you're asking. When everything is laid out in black and white, it is easier to see why you're feeling insecure about something. Be open with each other. Leave no stone unturned. If people are willing to lay everything before their partners, then there are fewer opportunities for everyone to make up stories in their mind. This will also allow trust to thrive in the relationship. Get to know your partner's friends and family. Your partner's support network can also be a source of support for you too. They have loads of information about your loved one that you can access to gain a better understanding of your partner. Face your fears. What you are most afraid of usually is the unknown. If you're brave enough, and if possible, befriend your partner's ex so that the unknown will become real to you. You can see up close that he or she is not so perfect after all. Also, who knows? You might even end up being the best of friends. If you feel that your relationship has hope and you want to stay with your partner, you should learn to forgive and let go. If you still cannot let go, maybe it is time to re-examine your relationship and figure out where you stand. Chapter 5. Sign number 4. Delusional Love. This chapter will explore jealousy's sinister and darker side. Everyone gets that occasional pang of jealousy, but some people take it to the extreme. They become so obsessed with their partner that what used to be love can turn into something menacing. There's actually a term for this obsessive kind of love: Othello syndrome. Othello was a character in Shakespeare's play. He was a tragic character who was convinced and tricked into believing that his wife was having an affair. He killed her out of jealousy, but later found out that he was wrong and that his wife was innocent. Othello committed suicide after. Psychologically, Othello's syndrome refers to a condition where people are delusional in thinking that their partners are being unfaithful to them. People who have this condition are typically dangerous, obsessive, and excessively jealous. Unfortunately, people blinded by jealousy cannot control their actions anymore. They can even reach a point where they physically act out the delusions they have in their mind. For example, Jane loves her husband, but he goes berserk when another guy talks to her. He jealously believes that she has affairs with each and every guy she comes in contact with. He hits her when they get home and tells her it is all her fault, until one day he hit her hard enough on the head and she ended up in a coma. Sometimes you are better off alone than to be with someone who is insanely jealous and delusional. How does delusional love manifest in behaviors? As discussed, the common core of jealousy-fueled relationships, where one partner is delusional, involves the constant belief that the other partner is unfaithful. This leads to frequent accusations of infidelity. Delusional partners subject their lovers to aggressive interrogations regarding their actions, which include, where have you been? Who were you with? What were you doing? Why did it take you so long? Who were you chatting with? And so on. This manifestation leads to the need to continually search through their partner's belongings to validate their delusion of infidelity. Do you always look for proof? Maybe you have taken spying to the next level, and you actually show up at your partner's workplace unexpectedly, hoping to catch him or her in the act. Sometimes those suffering with Othello syndrome also test their partner's faithfulness. Their partners are subject to scenarios shaped and controlled by them. They usually throw obstacles and temptations at their partners to see how they would react. An example of this would be creating a false online identity to try and chat with their partners. They would then try to flirt with them and tempt them to commit infidelity. Delusional partners are also usually, if not always, violent in one way or another. They are abusive, emotionally, physically, or mentally. They especially take it to heart when they perceive their partners are betraying them. It could be real or imagined. Are you in a violent relationship? If you are, get out now. It does not matter who the guilty one is. You need to stop your relationship before either one of you gets hurt. What are the consequences of delusional love? The intensity of feelings and emotions in cases of Othello syndrome slowly build up from trace of doubt being consumed daily by obsessions to developing altered realities in the mind, leading to the day where these are physically acted out. There are many serious consequences to delusional love. The number one thing that is sure to happen is total relationship breakdown. A lot of times, there is no going back in these situations. A grave and permanent consequence is the ultimate act of violence, murder. This happens when delusional partners reach their breaking points. A common trigger is when their partners leave the relationship. Since the object of their obsessions are no longer available to them, then they feel that no one else should have them too. You can find many cases of relationships that end in murder, like Othello. They also commit suicide afterwards because they cannot live without their partners. Although sometimes they do not physically hurt their partners and just commit suicide. Abuse is the usual outlet of delusional partners. Their partners usually suffer from excessive fear, sexual assault, physical injuries, emotional and mental trauma, stress, and anxiety. The victims often develop mental disorders as they cannot cope with all the abuse they receive. Domestic violence is one of the leading reasons for emergency room visits. Another consequence is that victimized partners are usually isolated from their family, friends, and other loved ones. Their partners limit their interaction with other people to the point that they lose contact with everybody but their crazed partners. Sometimes, when delusional partners continually accuse and interrogate them, the victims are forced into giving false confessions just to stop all the excessive pressure. They might agree that yes, they are having affairs just because they are so tired. However, there are also instances where false confessions lead to actual affairs. Since they are being accused of infidelity, they might as well really do it. There are also a lot of victims who escape from abusive relationships, but sometimes their misery does not end there. Stalking is a real problem when a relationship ends and the delusional partner is not ready to let go. Delusional partners almost always become stalkers. They follow their victims' every move and show up at their houses uninvited. They profess their intense love for them. Stalking could go on for weeks or even years. They also feel that their victims are just playing hard to get, and that eventually they will fall back into love with them. Since delusional partners are prone to rage, they sometimes take it out on their partner's things, or those of whomever they perceive as a threat to their relationship. Property destruction can include burning down houses, keying sides of cars, vandalizing properties, and basically just breaking down everything that is in their path. How do you overcome delusional love? This very severe and dangerous issue is hard to overcome. There are steps that you can take to do so, but you must be serious about seeing them through. Your first step is to take a deep breath and just relax. Then stop the relationship. Go cold turkey from the relationship and just take a break. A volatile relationship is unhealthy and no fun for anyone. Sometimes breaking away is the best thing to do because the current environment of your relationship may just be suffocating both of you. Your best and urgent mission is to seek professional help from mental health practitioners, no matter if you are the victim or the abuser. They will help you, and they may prescribe medication if they diagnose an actual mental disorder. There is no shame in this. A lot of people suffer from mental disorders, and they actually become better with the right help. Learn to separate reality from the make-believe scenarios in your head. Do not let your imagination run away with you. Tell someone. Reconnect with your friends and family. You might be surprised at the outpouring of support you will receive. Explain the situation and ask them to hold you accountable. You might need to stay with them for a while, so you will not easily fall into the traps of delusional thinking. Assess your relationship. Do you love your partner, or have you overstepped the boundaries of love? You may think love is what you feel, but in fact, you are just obsessed. If you are the victim, ask yourself if it is worth it to stay. Your life might be in danger. If you feel that you can still fix your relationship, agree to go to counseling together. You have reached the point where talking between you is not working anymore. You need to meet with a mediator on neutral grounds. Meditate. Release all those negative emotions you are holding in. Meditation has helped millions of people achieve better health, happiness, and self-control. Chapter 6. Sign number 5. Fault Finder. Jealousy is a vicious emotion, and one way it manifests in people is through fault finding. This chapter will look at why fault finding is a sign of jealousy, and how you can be more aware if you're doing it or not. So, are you a fault finder? Do you find yourself chronically looking for faults in people? It may be something as simple as commenting on how funny their clothes look or criticizing the way they do something. This innate need to find faults originates from your own insecurity, fear, selfishness, and jealousy. You feel that when you find faults in people, you are better than them. You are feeding your insecurity at the expense of other people. You are also in some way trying to justify your own faults. When people constantly find faults in their partners, they are in a way showing their partners that they are not good enough, and that they are lucky to have them. In this way, they feel like they are keeping their partners attached to them by making them feel that no one else will love them. Do not confuse fault-finding with healthy, constructive criticism. This is when you point out mistakes in a positive manner and you give advice for the betterment of the other person. You should be careful when handing out constructive criticism to your partner. You need to be sensitive and determine the correct timing and setting for this to be effective. How does fault-finding manifest in behaviors? Instead of praising your partner for their good qualities, you always see their flaws and imperfections. You are constantly pointing these out to the point of being obsessive about it. You will never let your partner get away with even the smallest mistake. Nothing is ever good enough for you. It is as if you are setting up unreachable standards for your partner, and when your standards are not met, you delight in telling your partner. It is as if you want them to fail. In addition, you always complain about your partner and that he or she is the one to blame when things do not go your way. You might say it is because they are stupid, worthless, or any other derogatory word that you know will put them down. You blame your partner for everything, even if it's no one's fault. You belittle your partner with every chance you get. You always have something to say about your partner's hair, body, clothes, job, and then you elaborate on the negative things you see about them. Efforts by your partner are also never recognized, and you do not stop arguing until your partner gives in and admits that he or she is wrong. You also shrug off whatever your partner has to say. You believe that your partner is inferior to you. Humiliation is also common with fault finders because of their jealousy. They love to humiliate their partners in front of anybody they feel is a threat to their relationship. They want other people to think that their partners are not good enough, so they will not attempt to steal their partners away. What are the consequences of fault-finding? Fault-finders are usually embroiled in drama. Their constant nagging ways can cause their partners to lose their tempers, which lead to frequent arguments. Do you find yourself arguing with your partner over the littlest things, such as what color tea towels you should buy? Partners of fault-finders usually take a beating to their self-esteem. They are afraid to act in fear of doing something to anger their partners. Even if they are truly at fault, they will become defensive at any hint of criticism, and thus preventing them from actually improving themselves. Eventually, resentment and contempt will grow in the partners of fault-finders. If you beat people down constantly, they will eventually dislike you or even hate you. They will lose respect for you and might even mock you. When your partner hates you, it usually leads to loss of intimacy. Your partner will lose sexual desire for you because they associate you with negative emotions. Nagging and constant criticism will cause people to avoid you, and they will make many excuses to do so. Since your partner will be avoiding you, communication breakdown is sure to happen in your relationship. Who wants to talk to someone who's always finding fault with you? They will not want to listen to you. Ultimately, all the consequences lead to relationship breakdown. If you are a chronic fault finder, chances are your partner is itching to get away from you to find another person who will give them a loving and peaceful relationship. How do you overcome being a fault finder? You should realize that fault finding is spiteful and malicious. Avoid doing this in any of your relationships, especially with your life partner. Manage your expectations. Admit that you are a fault finder. Look at your own actions and ask yourself why you are doing this. Maybe you have a problem with yourself that you need to fix first. Treasure who and what you have. Focus on your partner's positive qualities and attributes. Be generous with compliments and give credit where credit is due. Understand that your partner is different from you. Your capabilities are different from each other, and maybe your partner is having a hard time doing something that seems easy to you. Help your partner in a loving way, instead of branding about useless criticisms. Increase your own self-worth, so you do not need to stoop down to fault-finding. Occupy yourself with other activities, so you do not have too much time to focus on anyone else's faults. Focus on improvements. Use constructive criticism at the right times and sparingly. No one likes being criticized, not even yourself. Find a suitable environment and ask your partner first if they want advice or not. Are you with the right person? Maybe you are always finding faults because your partner is not the right person for you. Reevaluate your relationship and see if you should stay together or if you need to break up. There is no point in staying with the wrong person. Find solutions to problems rather than just rehashing faults. Be productive in your approach. If you truly love your partner, you would want to resolve your issues so both of you can enjoy the relationship. Chapter 8. Sign number 7. Revenge. This chapter will discuss how and why jealousy can cause you to exact revenge on your partner. Do you find yourself neglected by your partner lately? Do you feel the need to teach your partner a lesson? Revenge is a mind game aimed to manipulate your target that is meant to give you satisfaction. The main reason why you want to take revenge is to make someone suffer because you are suffering. So in a way, you are acting out a mirror of your emotions. People always want vindication when they feel slighted. It is quite normal reaction. However, it depends on how far you're going to take it. Some just have thoughts, while others act on their thoughts. In some cases, you feel like revenge will give you closure. If your partner has been doing things to make you angry and jealous, do you think it gives you the right to punish your partner? Revenge is a powerful thing, and you have to be careful. You might end up regretting it. How does taking revenge manifest in behaviors? Revenge is very personal, and so people wanting revenge will try to hurt others where they will be hurt the most. People suffer a lot when their partners cheat on them. It can drive them to do crazy things. Some people resort to revenge sex just because they want to get back at their partners. Some also deliberately flirt with other people in front of their partners to make them feel jealous. They also do this by taking calls and texting other people while on date nights with their partners. Social media also plays a big part in revenge nowadays. Aggrieved partners would also post a lot of pictures showing them having fun with other people. Some would even delete photos of their partners or change their relationship status just to spite their partners. Another way is to constantly bring up a third party in conversations and put them up on a pedestal to make partners jealous. Also, when people feel that their partners are neglecting them, they block their emotions and start to ignore their partners. They stop responding to calls and text messages. They might also turn off their phones to make their partners worry. They then start being secretive, like not wanting to say where they have been, as they would feel this would make their partners jealous too. They also begin to make plans with other people, for instance, to take a trip somewhere, without consulting their partners. There is one good thing about revenge, and this is when people use jealousy to improve themselves and increase their own value. This can be evident by an improved overall physical appearance. They want their partners to regret hurting them. They will then reject their partners to hurt them even more. What are the consequences of revenge? Accept that everyone makes mistakes. You do too. The best thing is to try and solve the problem. Your partner will probably reject you because they do not trust you anymore, especially if they are innocent of any wrongdoing. Revenge, for the most part, does not result in any positive scenarios. There is no resolution, and so communication and relationship breakdown follow. Revenge will also become an endless retaliation between you and your partner. Once you have put your revenge into motion, there is no turning back. What is done is done. The crazy things you may do when you are out for revenge may not reflect your true self. You are just destroying yourself in the process. Your health may be in danger if you decide to have an affair. You have to be careful because if you catch STDs, it is not worth it. How do you overcome the need to take revenge? Promote open communication. Tell your partner how you feel and verify what is happening. Sometimes your perception of the situation may be inaccurate, and your partner is actually innocent. Spice it up and do something out of the ordinary to revitalize your relationship. Look for positive ways to bring you two closer again instead of taking revenge. Assess your partner's behavior and see if your partner is deliberately treating you badly. If you find out your partner is cheating on you, then it is time to move on. Learn to forgive. If you want to stay with your partner, you must learn to accept your partner as is. Once you agree to forget, you should also forgive so you can let go of this negative energy in your life. You must learn to have reasonable expectations so you can have peace of mind. Once you are at peace with yourself, you will take any problems that come with a calm and cool head. You will become less prone to having negative thoughts. Chapter 9. Dealing with others' jealousy. This chapter will now discuss jealousy when it comes from the other side and how to successfully deal with it. First of all, decide if you truly want to stay together with an overly jealous partner. Do you love your partner enough to make your relationship work? Are you prepared to make sacrifices? If your answer is no, then just get out of that relationship fast. However, if you are willing to make it work, read on. What do you do when your partner is jealous? You feel like you're not doing anything to make them feel that way, but they still get jealous. What are the steps you can take to make your partner feel secure? At the first sign of jealousy, nip it in the bud. Sit down with your partner and talk it over. Clarify what is bothering your partner. It could be just a really simple thing like your partner felt jealous earlier because your partner saw you hugging someone else. What your partner did not know, that someone else was just your sibling. So there, problem fixed. Give your partner the benefit of the doubt. Your partner might have a valid point. Do not indulge your partner's irrational jealousy. In this case, do not be argumentative, but be firm in dealing with your partner so you can avoid reaffirming any imagined perceptions your partner may have. You would actually be saving your loved one from getting caught up in the cycle of jealousy. Reassure your partner regularly of your love and affection. Your partner might just need that extra boost of tender, loving care. Always be patient, kind, loving, and compassionate with your partner. Everyone loves to be flattered, so give regular compliments to your partner. It does not cost a thing to remind your partner of his or her wonderful qualities. Encourage your partner to engage in skill-building activities. This will help build your partner's confidence and independence. Support your partner's dreams. Set boundaries and rules with each other and clarify any gray area. Respect your partner and make sure you stay within the guidelines. If you ever cross any boundary, discuss it immediately with your partner. Build on trust in your relationship by spending quality time with each other. It is proven that shared experiences lead to a stronger bond. Introduce your partner to your friends and family. This will help make your partner feel more secure. Always be truthful and consistent. Once your partner catches you in a lie, it is hard to gain back trust. Assess your actions because you might unknowingly be acting in a way that is causing your partner to be jealous. As long as it is reasonable, you should stop doing whatever is causing the problem. Be understanding and learn to accept your differences. Treat your partner how you want to be treated. Be open with your partner. Keeping secrets from your partner seems like such an underhanded thing to do, and this actually causes jealousy in many people, even in you probably. When jealousy spirals out of control and there is no appeasing your partner, you should know when to leave the relationship. No one deserves to be treated unfairly. Chapter 10. Letting jealousy create a better version of you. In this chapter, you will learn how to embrace jealousy and use it to create a better you. Now that you have read about the different signs of jealousy, do they sound familiar to you? If any of the signs are talking to your heart, acknowledge what is happening and learn how to overcome it. Jealousy is always thought of negatively, but in fact, you can turn it into a positive thing. It is such a tiring emotion, and you do not want to let it ruin your life forever. So instead of letting it pull you down, use this powerful emotion as inspiration and use its strength to make something great out of your life. You can use the tips below to help you become a happy, amazing, and confident person with the power to have an enjoyable relationship. Jealousy can act as a wake-up call and show you where you are lacking. It will help you realize how your actions affect others. Once you are more in touch with your emotions, you can be more empathetic and more considerate of your loved ones. You can use jealousy as a motivator to strive and work harder. When you find yourself comparing yourself to other people and you find something they do better than you, take it as a constructive challenge. Invest in yourself. Let jealousy push you to greater heights than you have achieved before. Turn the situation around and let others be jealous of you. Using jealousy as part of a healthy competition can help you do better with your studies, sports, career, and it can also induce you to take better care of your health. People are drawn to those who exude an aura of warmth and positivity, so turn your negative energy into positive today. Once you are more self-confident, you start to take charge of your life, and you become more independent. When used as a motivator, Jealousy can help unlock unrealized qualities in you, which could actually lead to exciting new opportunities. Let jealousy help you to have open communication with your partner. Reach out to your partner in a gentle way, and you might be surprised that your partner did not even realize that you are jealous. It will help you become closer and more intimate when you open yourselves up to each other. Use jealousy as an incentive on your part to make more efforts with your partner. Since the root of jealousy is the fear of losing someone, then you should go and strive to be a better partner. Go ahead and provide your partner with lots of love and affection. Jealousy can also help you appreciate the good qualities in your partner. Since you think everyone wants your partner, then focus on those qualities you think other people want and capitalize on them. When you have done all of the above and you still do not feel satisfied with your relationship, take another step back and analyze your relationship again. You would be surprised. Jealousy might actually help you realize that you and your partner do not match and that you are just wasting your time being together. Conclusion. To summarize, all factors of jealousy have a common denominator, and that is relationship breakdown due to behaviors brought on by fear of abandonment. In order to avoid this, you should always remind yourself that a relationship should also be a partnership. Learn how to compromise. Remember that your partner is under no obligation to stay with you or put up with your jealous ways, and so make the effort to make your partner want to stay with you to a healthy extent. When you are feeling doubtful, ask yourself if you really want to live in a world filled with negativity. If you are the instigator of jealousy in your relationship, be aware that you might actually be pushing your loved one far away from you. No one is perfect, so you need to accept that everyone is flawed. Do not be so harsh on yourself and your partner. Be more flexible so you can bend with the wind without breaking. Learning to trust and let go is easier said than done, but if you make the decision to change your perspective to a positive one, then you just have jumped over the highest hurdle. Stop dwelling on things out of your control and instead aim to make positive progress in your life. Invest in yourself and continually seek to better yourself. Take what you have learned here and discover a stronger new you who is happy with yourself and your partner. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to read this book. Now that you know how to handle and manage your jealousy, let it help restore and rejuvenate your relationship. Remember, your relationship can only be as enjoyable as you let it be. The power is in your hands.
Jealousy. Guide to Overcoming the Green Monster of Envy and Jealousy. Written by Crystal Taylor. Narrated by Lynn Roberts. Chapter 1. Jealousy in Relationships. How come a person feels jealous? Maybe the relationship was too weak to begin with? When the relationship is strong and both are committed, should one feel jealous at all? Or is there something in a person's genes? How can someone be jealous if everything seems to be working out just fine? Does it relate to one's past? Or why must she feel jealous? But jealousy is still a fact of life. It can be there, whether we like it or not. Let's examine better what jealousy is and where it comes from. Let's look at a simple example. Say your son or daughter loves your neighbors, and she or he is every bit mindful to them. Can you feel jealous of this or proud of this? Can you try to remove your son or daughter from the neighbors or forbid them to go? Can you confront the neighbors? You might do nothing at all. What if your little one is substituted with your partner? Your reaction might be entirely different. If so, why? What's the difference in both situations? It's the suspicion, the fantasy, and the imagination that something might be happening. The primary difference is belief. You have a complete belief that the child might run around and have fun with lots of people around the day. But he or she will go back to you during the night, or when they're hungry, or maybe hurt. Am I right? It's not necessary to share the exact same belief together with your lover or spouse. And that's the primary reason for jealousy. Somewhere in your thoughts, you're always curious about how you look, your intelligence, your relationship skills, and all sorts of additional factors that could break your relationship, making your partner more vulnerable to get into another relationship. Can any relationship that is dependent on such slippery ideas be considered a happy relationship? Will it survive the test of time effortlessly? No. The easiest way out would be to discuss without hesitation everything in your thoughts together with your spouse or lover and expose all of your fears. Be totally open. Try to discover everything that is incorporated in the mind of the partner in the same manner. Discuss everything and choose whatever is the best option, because your relationship is not going anywhere soon. Give that commitment and take that commitment in exchange, and revel in life forever without bothering about jealousy. If, in the end of the day, the two of you arrived at the conclusion that it isn't working anymore, the commitment isn't strong enough for one another, and then perhaps you should create a clean break. Jealousy is available in our mind because we do not know the romance and commitment. Take proper care of that to live a contented life. Understanding the true reason you're battling with a jealousy relationship ordeal is intensely liberating. In the end, when you're consumed with jealousy, it's not hard to think that your life is spinning unmanageably. Once you have taken the logical steps to repair this sort of feeling, you will notice that your circumstances are not as overwhelming as they appear to be. The important thing to defeating your feelings of jealousy is conversation. In the end, among the greatest reasons for envious feelings is unvoiced grudges. You might quietly detest someone for winning a tournament or scoring greater on the test than you. You might sit, tense and unhappy, as someone compliments your romantic partner. However, in voicing the origin of the unhappiness, you are able to steer clear of the trouble of jealousy relationships prior to beginning. You won't just be venting your worries and frustrations, and individuals around you can assist, and it becomes clear that this sort of feeling is irrational. Keeping a diary is a different way to overcome your jealousy relationships. Writing, in the end, is recognized as probably the most therapeutic means of unloading your anxieties. It's not only a great way to clear the mind, but you will find the benefit of having the ability to appreciate every day once you have calmed down just a little. This enables you to definitely see the problem from a new perspective. In case your jealousy is beginning to interfere with your personal life or at work, you might want to consider therapy as a second alternative. A counselor can give you a calm, neutral listening ear to vent your troubles to. In contrast to your friends or family members, there's no bias or reluctance to let you know exactly what you ought to know. She or he can also give you a qualified foundation for coping with your own personal problem. Your counselor will have the ability to suggest methods to defeat your jealousy in your relationships, but he or she may also be in position to uncover the main underlying reasons of this problem. Once you have learned this, you will notice that it's significantly simpler to see your feelings of anger and jealousy for what they really are: insecurities. Romantic jealousy. With regards to romantic jealousy, it's not hard to lapse into negative thinking. You might, for instance, feel angry at the person you are romantically thinking about for selecting another person. You may even feel angry at the person she or he chose. You might want to check into this relationship and confront them to ultimately choose her or him or you. This sort of feeling is totally natural, and you should not be embarrassed about it. However, you should not permit these feelings to rule your life either. What you do with it is what matters most. Even though the disappointment might be crushing, it will not last forever. Understanding that is among the greatest steps in working with romantic jealousy. You might feel at that time you won't ever find other people. However, after a while, the tough immediacy of those feelings will fade, and you will notice that this incident is virtually no need to resign you to a life filled with unhappiness. You will find someone else, most likely, and there is a lot of comfort in that. How will you overcome romantic jealousy? While the passing of time is oftentimes essential for the process of recovery, there are lots of other methods for you to ease your discomfort. Romantic feelings come and go. Just understand that it has a lot to do with hormones, social pressure, oxytocin, dopamine, and other circumstances. It can be related to the feelings of loss and mourning, the same feelings people have when a loved one dies, and a change of plans. We as humans typically like to know what will happen in the future, but we just don't. I remember I dated a guy, and when it was over between us, I was pretty upset. Not devastated, I guess, but it still hurt, and a long relationship had ended in a bad way. Little did I know I would meet my wonderful husband-to-be a few months later. Chapter 2. Pathology. Pathological envy is an intense conviction that the romantic partner has been unfaithful. This might lead the individual to control their family member, enough where they restrict telephone calls and forbid them to speak with other people. Because of this, they've tightly controlled every facet of their partner's life, and they still remain convinced that it may still happen. Does this seem familiar? When you get confronted with any of this, be assured that you are not alone. It happens all the time, even when people try to hide it from the world. If you see your partner acting abnormally possessive, confront them about this. Question them why they think they are doing this, and why they want to control you a lot. And getting the issue to come to light in whatsoever confrontational way you think is best, you might be able to consider the actual reason your romantic partner is showing indications of pathological jealousy. Should you still need to make your relationship work, you can visit a couples counselor relating to your partner's pathological jealousy. Especially when it comes to pathology, counselors can help. If you think your partner's actions are rooted in mental illness, you might want to consider visiting a mental health specialist, because these professionals can prescribe medicine in addition to advice and encouragement. You may even be thinking about group therapy for you and your partner's pathological jealousy. You won't just have the ability to vent your troubles. You'll be able to understand them and also learn from others. Pathological jealousy might have devastating effects on any relationship. In trying to help cure you and your partner's irrational anger, anxiety, and depression, you're both doing your part to develop like a devoted couple. However, if you think your partner isn't improving, you might want to consider ending the relationship. You might have seen Dr. Phil shows in which some relationships were impossible to heal. In the end, pathological jealousy of this level can lead you to being seriously injured, physically, psychologically, and/or emotionally. Chapter 3. Retroactive Jealousy. Retroactive jealousy is a rare and not commonly acknowledged problem that nonetheless affects many relationships. Basically, this type of jealousy is when you're envious of your partner's previous partners. This can be from you dwelling over the truth that an old partner had a better job than you, to believing that the previous partner was more physically attractive or better in bed. Surprisingly, retroactive jealousy is one thing that disturbs both women and men. It is possible to overcome this sort of feeling, however. Listed here are a couple of tips about how to do that the best way. The most crucial key to solving retroactive jealousy would be to acknowledge this is not an issue that's brought on you by your lover. Neither is it an issue stemming out of your partner's other relationships. What many don't understand is simply that the true cause of the conflict is that you are insecure or afraid, and in retroactive jealousy, you are keeping these feelings to yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. There are cases in which the partner still has feelings for a previous partner, or compares too much. Anyone who knows the smartest rules of the dating game realizes that bringing up your ex too much is not a good idea. So keep reminding your partner about that if they do. If they need to talk about their ex, let them talk to someone else. Regrettably, shedding your jealousy might not be easy, particularly if your partner's former partner still affects your life in some way. For example, through joint child custody of the children. Oftentimes, you might feel annoyed that the partner once dated is someone you can't understand. However, you need to keep in mind that your partner's past not affect your current relationship. You can start to look at your emotions of jealousy by discussing them in more detail together with your partner. Let her or him know your feelings. Discussing your problems prior to beginning to fester is an integral part of a good relationship. Another essential part of putting your emotions of jealousy behind you would be to examine yourself. Do you experience feelings of insecurity within the understanding that the partner once dated others? Instead of endlessly evaluating your appearance, paycheck, or other attributes of your partner's past relationships, attempt to recall the positive attributes that the partner so adores in regards to you. And remember, eventually, your partner chose you, not the others. Finally, in case your low self-esteem causes your emotions of retroactive jealousy to break out, try distancing yourself from them. Can there be a way to improve your confidence and improve yourself? If that's the case, take matters into your own hands. In case your insecurities are unsolvable, do your very best to put them behind you. Nobody is perfect. Chapter 4. Sibling Rivalry. Surprisingly, brother or sister jealousy occurs more frequently than lots of people think. Many reasons exist why brothers and sisters can experience feelings of envy at practically all ages. Listed here are a couple of ideas to consider when tackling the issue of brother or sister jealousy. Have you noticed that your kids have brother or sister envy in a youthful age? If that's the case, it might be essential to sit them down and discuss the situation. Inform them frequently that you don't love any child more than the other. Do not show visible indications of favoritism. Try to make your children go over specific occurrences that could invoke feelings of envy. By doing this, you might uncover just why they have this misconception and stop the development of grudges and ill feelings. If you're experiencing sibling rivalry together with your brother or sister, possibly you're ready to sit down and talk to her or him about this. You might initially be reluctant to go over the problem, but over time, you will be much happier than if you simply endured. In mastering what's making the other brother or sister envious, you'll be able to arrive at an awareness relating to your role in their envy. Sibling rivalry can start as early as 2 years old. I remember when our oldest daughter started showing a bit more bad behavior when the new baby was born. Of course, this could be just related to the age, some tension in the home, or something else. But it was obvious because she would say things like, "That's not my sister," or "I am your daughter, not her." It's not always easy to compete with your siblings. Instead, try to just be yourself. This sounds too simple, but sometimes it's really just that. Outperform your own previous achievements, not theirs. Chapter 5. Jealousy in Professions. Jealousy at work is not an infrequent phenomenon. Regrettably, envy among coworkers could possibly range from heartless gossip to serious conflicts at work. Whether someone else is in charge who would like to make certain that the employees stick to good terms, or you have work-related jealousy yourself, you will find advantages to overcoming professional jealousy. With regards to confronting professional jealousy, you need to solve the origin of conflict as quickly as possible. Professional jealousy, somewhat, is much harder to handle than usual installments of jealousy. Sometimes you might be unable to confront the individual you're envious of, nor are you in a position to discuss your emotions together with your boss. However, the purpose of shedding your emotions of professional jealousy is not so your problems are going to be solved, but that you'll be in a position to live contently despite these complaints. In the end, there'll always be good reasons to be envious. The key factor would be to learn to simply accept these reasons and live happily no matter them. Some people will always out-earn you. Accept that. I know gurus who look up to millionaires, and millionaires who look up to billionaires. There will always be someone above you, and that's okay, because the people at the top do need the people at the bottom, even though some of them may be reluctant to admit this. In the end, it's much simpler to accept that somebody is cheating their distance to a raise, or just is not like you are, with different talents, than to fear you will never obtain the promotion you have been longing for. With regards to banishing these anxieties, you need to keep in mind that you have been hired for a reason, and you've got valuable skills which are necessary to your organization. Try making a summary of these skills, along with other attributes that you simply feel cause you to be valued over a coworker. Remind yourself during occasions of trouble that you're indeed able to accomplish wonderful things. You will be amazed at how helpful this process is for banishing feelings of jealousy. Don't let stress get in your way. Be patient and look to the future with hope and optimism. Chapter 6. Jealousy in Sports. Allow me to begin by stating the obvious. Whatever the level that the kids in sports compete at, from the recreational to the super serious, the primary reason for your role inside your child's sport is to assist them to learn valuable life training which will ultimately enable them to become happy, highly functional, good individuals, because they can carry these lessons of childhood and adolescence into their adult years. Sports entertainment, when at the disposal of appropriate adults, are wonderful classrooms to educate these life trainings. The primary reason for your task in your child's sport should not be to make sure they start, score more goals than their teammates, beat Timmy or Cammy, or end up on the all-star team. If you feel winning and to be the best are the primary goal here, then you're sadly mistaken and unintentionally guiding your children down the wrong track. They will not mature because of results, but because of overcoming their own weaknesses. It's perfectly fine for your children to obtain a high score, earn a university scholarship, or go pro. Childhood dreams are absolutely invaluable in motivating kids to feel passion and stand out. However, from your view on it, you shouldn't be pushing your children to earn scholarships or to really make it towards the pros. The realistic chances of that happening are extremely slim, and their dreams might get shattered for no reason. To get better is good, but to have fun is an important component too. When a sports athlete does earn the elusive scholarship or signs that lucrative pro contract, it isn't only because they worked hard on it. Any athlete who achieves that top degree of performance achieves this simply because they, as well as their parents, know that sports are there to build us up. Sports success always comes naturally from your kids loving their sport, and also the quest and understanding the right training in the game. There needs to be some passion. Your key role here, with regards to your son's or daughter's sport, would be to support them to set goals, not set them for them. This also means that the process matters more than the end results. I'm sure you've probably heard of, or are conscious of, parents who mercilessly driven youngster athletes to be successful. You can even find tales about mothers and fathers of some professional athletes who've pressed their kids' sports to this higher level. In fact, I personally know someone myself who has done that. Her kids have numerous trophies and medals. But they admit that as soon as they left home, they quit because they didn't care about it. Some people burn up prematurely in distress, while some carry deep and everlasting emotional scars from being forced by their parents' own agendas, scars which are woven through every facet of their lives. You need to keep a long-term perspective. There are many more significant things on the line here than winning, playing time, or who scores what. Training that goes along with effort and sacrifice for the quest for excellence means that you're learning the reality of failure, and that making mistakes and having good sportsmanship, honesty, integrity, respect, and other things matter. Teammates and opponents with fair play, working together, and the necessity to sacrifice me for we by handling failure and success with dignity, and other great stories have made it to the newspapers. The underdog is popular, and there's a reason for that. How can we teach our children this critical life training? Largely by who we appear to be and just how we act. To put it simply, your most effective teaching and parenting tool is being a role model. Your children always learn much more from what you are and your actions than from that which you tell them. If that is the situation, then please let me know precisely what you are teaching your 12-year-old boy if you get up on the sidelines and noisily criticize another player on his team every time they get some things wrong. This may be especially true for team sports like soccer and basketball. Whenever your daughter's teammate Kim scores, what are you exactly teaching your child when you grunt and show your visible displeasure as that happens? What is the lesson there? Will your daughter feel stupid when another kid is successful? Will she resent Kim? Should she discover that one ought to always be jealous and exasperated of individuals who have success or are on a greater level of skill, even if they're teammates? What became of the notion that the greater your teammates, and also the better your competition, the higher chance you have at excelling and growing as both a sports athlete as well as a person? And therefore, are you blinded from your jealousy to not understand that Kim is among the best kids around the team, a real leader, and somebody who always lifts her teammates up instead of knocks them down? You've got an essential role in your child's sports team. How good you play this role will dramatically have an effect on your boy's or daughter's happiness, self-esteem, learning, and quest for excellence both off and on the field. Keep your games in perspective. Support and encourage your son or daughter and everybody on their team. Love your son or daughter unconditionally, despite of how well they play or the number of mistakes they may make. Make certain that the child recognizes that your respect and love on their behalf isn't based mostly on the end result of the game or their number of minutes on the court or field. It's about effort. Tell them you care about them doing their best and that this is good enough. I remember seeing a girls' basketball team that played another girls' team. The first team was not good at basketball. In fact, they were very clumsy. The coach was a friendly, loving woman who cared about how they felt. She encouraged them to do well, but perhaps she could have used a bit more training on how to help the girls perfect their plays and skills. However, the other team was much, much better. They outscored the first team 8-1 every time. Eventually, the match was almost over. The losers had a timeout, and their coach told them to keep the other team's score under 100 points. The girls were excited and went back to the court to play. When the game ended, it was 96-14. The winners had 82 points more than the losing team. But the winners were not the ones cheering. The losing team was excited because at least they didn't allow the other team to score 100 points against them. They cheered and celebrated as if they had won. The girls jumped up and down, smiled, hugged their coach, and went to the showers with relief. The winning team, on the contrary, had their heads down and slouched away as if they had lost. This taught me a lot about perspective. Sure, the better team won, but they didn't even appreciate their own performance. The losing team had set an achievable goal and was happy with having their expectations met. It was a joy to see this little 9-year-old girl's team be so enthusiastic about losing that much. Very ironic. Chapter 7. Possessiveness. Jealousy has a lot to do with being possessive. We want exclusivity, and maybe that's a good thing for relationships to thrive. But when it gets out of hand, problems arise. I think it's like taking a picture of someone. You can capture their image and store it on your computer, or print it. When you do, it's almost like that person belongs to you. We always want to have more, be more, and show off. It's a little bit of greed that goes along with these feelings. But perhaps it's made that way for a reason. When a guy looks at pornographic images and his female partner catches him, how does that make her feel? Exactly, not loved. She feels as if he's not satisfied with just her. If he flirts with another woman, and that woman flirts back, this may make her resentful to that woman. I know how it feels. My husband was a little annoyed when he was dating me and another guy with a motorcycle stepped up and took me for a ride. The guy was obviously showing off, which became clear by how he flirted with me. And when my husband, then boyfriend, noticed this, he said that he didn't like the motorcycle dude. Of course not. I was his girlfriend. He owned me, right? And maybe this instinct allows us to fight for what we want, to protect our families, or to keep our partners from falling into temptation or broken relationships. We try to keep families intact and happy. But sometimes we want everything. We don't like it when someone has more talent, more money, a better partner, an easier life, or whatever. Not because we hate them, but because we want it ourselves. And that's just a harsh reality all of us have to accept every so often. We can't have everything we want, and if we do, then at least not now. We need to wait and work towards what we want to have. Most people do. Chapter 8. Sexual Jealousy. In this chapter, we'll answer the question, how is jealousy related to sex? We already touched on jealousy between siblings, in sports, relationships, and at work. In relationships, jealousy and sexuality are closely related. They are primal instincts of nature that can work for our benefit or work against us, and we need to learn how to handle them and use them, not brush these feelings aside. We will discuss this topic in this chapter in the form of some questions and answers. Is sexual jealousy the strongest? Well, it's the most challenging to handle. I will tell you that from general observations. If we are in a serious relationship with someone, we all know rationally that people can't own him or her, but emotionally you want to. Whenever we see a menace to the relationship, it's as though a bit of ourself has been stolen. We want to find our other half, the person who completes us, physically and emotionally, and secretively, we don't allow anyone else to get in our way. Humans are made this way, and I've seen so many people ignore their own feelings because they got swept away by the current trends of indecency and unfaithfulness. And then, later, they wonder why they have been so messed up emotionally. It's because they go against their own nature. Let's say there's no obvious threat. Does jealousy frequently arise anyway? Yes. Freud described 3 kinds of sexual jealousy. Normal jealousy is really a reaction to a genuine threat. Delusional jealousy is generally seen only in psychotic people. They react to totally unreal clues. For example, they hear voices within the television set, letting them know their partner is sleeping with the mailman or something. The third type is known as forecasted jealousy. For instance, a guy wants to see other women, but he can't be honest to himself. His inner duplicity leads him to suspect his lady, and then he accuses her to do what he himself hopes to do. This sort of jealousy can frequently exist and can lead to suspicion of rivals who have no clues themselves. Exactly what do you mean? A structure contractor I know was exceedingly jealous of men who were at work together with his wife, a lady who managed musical groups. One morning, after she finished an appointment, he exploded. "All right, that's it. Who is this Art guy? You have been talking about him on the phone all week." She responded, "Art who?" He got even angrier. "You know him. Art Nevi or Art Nova." Finally, his wife shot back, "That's Art Nouveau, you idiot." Their marriage soon ended. How else does it arise without a real threat? Insecurity, first and foremost. For example, if you go to a celebration and someone's partner thinks another is having a good time, but a little too good. Blows to the self-esteem, loss of employment, illness, or simply general feelings of inadequacy make us weaker to jealousy. Are women weaker than men? I'd always heard that, but I found the alternative to be real. It requires more provocation to create a jealous woman. Why? The very first love both sexes know develops from a girl-mom relationship. As a girl matures, she identifies herself as using the mother and incorporates the thought of becoming one herself. So while the possibilities of losing a family member are traumatic, a girl cannot lose that maternal feeling within herself. A guy, though, should always discover that love outside of himself. I have heard many psychologists talk about the first love of a guy, about the first sexual experience, and the oxytocin releases that relate to the bonding process in that guy's brain. It's something that so many men get wrong. They don't wait. They get too curious, and before they know it, their minds have become numb to it, and they have a hard time bonding with their sexual partner because they bonded too much with their previous sexual partners, or even virtual pornographic partners. How frequently do jealous people monitor one another? It's common. They begin dealing with wastebaskets, checking phone bills for strange figures, driving past a lover's house to determine what cars are parked there, etc. Frequently, they hire a professional spy. Private detectives let me know jealousy surveillance may be their main business venture. Is violence unusual? About 4 or 5 people I interviewed accepted they'd crashed into their lover's car using their own vehicle. Car revenge isn't unusual. Same with tossing dishes and ripping up clothing. A friend once rented an indecent movie and then watched his furniture destroyed by his lover. This isn't just done by psychopaths. I remember talking to a girl who found her parents dead in their home. She talked about it with no emotion. She said that as a young teenager, she entered the home one day and found 2 corpses. Her mom chopped up in pieces, an axe next to it, and her dad with a gunshot in his head and a gun next to him. When I asked her why he had done this, she said it was all because her mother had cheated on him. You think that violence can be a healthy outlet? Absolutely not. Later, these folks think back and are traumatized or embarrassed with themselves, even when it's not an extreme case like with the teenage girl. Today, people wish to be liberated, yet jealous feelings obstruct them from feeling that way. People don't like succumbing to such irrational feelings. They believe they ought to have outgrown such feelings. They know that they have to grow up, but they struggle to do so. So have liberation and feminism not reduced jealousy? On the contrary, jealousy is rising. More women working out of the home, for example, means more social situations and much more possibilities for jealousy to arise. Competition and expectations have increased. Satisfaction rates are dropping and stress levels are rising. Some parts of feminism may not have been the best for society's happiness. Have you discovered that any open marriages have worked? No. Generally, each partner was in a relationship with others simultaneously, and also to exactly the same degree. Also, the folks had made the decision at the onset of the relationship that they are likely to be open sexually. Plus, they had discussed freely together what types of things made them jealous. Just being honest and open doesn't mean you should start once your lover feels tricked. People are often in self-denial as well. A partner may not admit that he or she will be jealous if the other person sleeps with another person, either to justify doing the same or not to be embarrassed about weak feelings of jealousy, and having an attitude of being cool about everything. But secretly, feelings arise anyway, and if a partner spends more time with someone else, people tend to feel left out, alone, frustrated, or neglected. Romantic love has to be exclusive. What else could you say about individuals who claim they never get jealous? They're either very secure people in an exceedingly good relationship, plus they truly don't have any reason for jealousy, or they aren't able to get near to others, or they are lying or denying the truth. Should you not care deeply for other people, then you definitely won't get jealous. Frequently, individuals who can't get close to others have sooner or later experienced such painful jealousy that after that, they guard themselves to the extreme to never feel that way again. That's not unusual, and it often happens in their childhood. How will you increase peace of mind and trust? People who have the tendency to cheat need to look at their partner as someone who is irreplaceable, even when they have weaknesses or when they get bored with them. I remember talking to someone who mentioned that his wife was so good-looking that she didn't have to worry about him ever looking at porn, because it would be a downgrade. Of course, he said this jokingly, and he knew very well that even if you have the most beautiful woman in the universe, you could still get addicted to that stuff, and so that's why he stayed away from it. He didn't underestimate the enslaving power of sexual explicit pictures, so he avoided it like the plague. But to tell her that made him feel special himself, because he considered himself the luckiest man in the world. If you become jealous, what's the suggested treatment? It's going to be something like this. Number 1, admit you're jealous of another and feel guilty. Number 2, escape. Have a short vacation. Number 3, obtain a good night's sleep. A massage or hot bath will also help. Number 4, speak with someone supportive. Number 5, put your feelings in writing. Number 6, meditate on your feelings. They will not be gnawing at you constantly. Number 7, keep busy. Number 8, read wise counsel. Number 9, laugh. Watch a funny movie. Do you think the porn industry has a bad effect on jealousy and relationships? Absolutely. Addicts watch these images and feel either out of control, numbed, apathetic, or jealous of the pictures themselves. Photographs with exaggerated procreative organs make so many people insecure that they go through surgery, get fake enlargement products, or do whatever else to stand out more without really feeling loved. Partners often feel hurt because they feel that they aren't good or beautiful enough for their addicted partner. It's a real pit of misery, and I advise anyone who is not addicted to stay away from it. I've heard too many stories of broken marriages, months of therapy, emotional damage, and even dark stories about trafficked women who are forced or mistreated in the industry. Do yourself, society, your family, and the victims of this industry a favor and find help if you are an addict. You will look back and see that you're in a better place. What else would you like to add? Try to build self-esteem so you won't feel insecure if you lose something or someone, or if someone does something better than you. If you know your worth, you don't care if someone beats you at something, and you'll be less suspicious in your relationship. Chapter 9. Extreme Jealousy Stories. Here are some stories and quotes from real people, obviously their names kept secret, that tell the sad tale of extreme jealousy and its destructive consequences. Number 1. The jealous Saudi husband who divorced his wife after she kissed a horse. Incriminating photos of somebody kissing someone else has surely ended many relationships. But this jealous husband took things a tad too serious. A Saudi man divorced his wife after finding an image of her kissing a horse on social media. The unnamed lady stated she took the photo of her horsey's smooch near Riyadh, Saudi Arabia herself. She added that her divorce hasn't made her regret kissing the horse, and that she wasn't upset by splitting from the man who cannot separate humans and creatures. She also stated she's very happy with the image because it expresses her passion for Arabian horses. Number 2. Britain's most jealous lady makes her man have a lie detector test each time he leaves the home. A woman who makes her husband have a lie detector test to demonstrate he's been faithful each time he leaves the home continues to be identified as having an uncommon condition that triggers delusional jealousy. She is very paranoid that her partner will cheat, so she also checks his phone, email, and bank statements several times each day for proof of infidelity. The husband, who began dating her once they met via a friend, is even banned from watching women on TV or looking at images of them in gossip columns. Doctors found the lady is struggling with Othello syndrome, a psychological disorder which causes sufferers to think their partners happen to be unfaithful, even without evidence. Number 3. The jealous boyfriend who used a fundraising event to crash girlfriend's spring break vacation. Miami, Florida, is among the most widely used vacation destinations within the United States. However, for one man, watching his girlfriend visit the town of beautiful scenery and other beautiful people was an excessive amount to deal with. He began a fundraising event to boost enough money to go to Miami, to go along with his girlfriend, so she would not be enticed to cheat on him during spring break. He made his original plea online, where he danced an excellent line between devoted boyfriend and bona fide stalker. Apparently, he got $360 from 29 different donations in only 8 days online. He later updated his page to make everybody realize that he and his girlfriend had met up and they were enjoying their spring break together. Number 4. The man who had been forced to choose between his girlfriend and jealous ex-partner after both jumped into a river to determine who he would save first. A guy found himself in a sticky situation when his current girlfriend and the ex put both themselves right into a river to determine which one he loved the most. This happened in China, and the boyfriend had decided, after some conflicts, to bring them together. Once they were all in Ningbo, in eastern China's Xinjiang province, the problem went from bad to worse. The women started quarreling. The man's ex-girlfriend felt insulted with a comment made by his current girlfriend, so she leaped into the river, provoking her former lover to save her. His current girlfriend, fearing he might indeed begin to save his ex-lover, then leaped in too. The guy fixed the problem by jumping in the water in order to save his current girlfriend, after which he took to the hospital. His brother, who was a fireman, then saved his ex later. They showed up at the scene and helped the heartbroken lady from the water. Number 5. The jealous wife who chopped off her cheating husband's penis 2 times. After finding that her 32-year-old husband was cheating in Henan province, his wife chopped off his penis as they were sleeping in their bedroom. The man's penis was reattached by surgeons, but his wife visited the healthcare facility room where he stayed and chopped off his healing genitalia again. Everything began when the husband didn't remember to sign off on his wife's cell phone after delivering a naughty email to his 21-year-old adulterous lover. She went mad when she saw the email. After chopping his genitals off for the second time, she threw his penis out of the hospital window. It was never found, and it was thought to have been taken by stray cats or dogs. And it gets worse, because after that, a porn company offered him a job, willing to help him out financially and doing more surgery to restore his manhood. Number 6. The president who gave the right response to a woman's jealous boyfriend. A voter standing beside the President of the United States because he was casting his early ballot for the 2014 midterm elections in Chicago cautioned the commander-in-chief and said, "Don't touch my girlfriend." The man was waiting with his girlfriend when President Barack Obama showed up in the station in Chicago. The flabbergasted Obama responded, "I really wasn't thinking about it." Number 7. The man who assaulted his ex-girlfriend with a cornetto. In November 2014, an ex-boyfriend who got jealous when his former partner told him she was seeing another person assaulted her with a cornetto. The furious man reacted by grabbing a cornetto that one of the two kids was eating and attempted to stuff it into her mouth. She called for the police, but the last thing a police operator heard was the sound of her screaming. The mother was left with a face filled with frozen treats, a broken lip, and a bruised face. The man didn't have any previous crimes in his name, but he was put on trial for assaulting his partner of 4 years. His lawyer attempted to excuse him by saying she taunted his client with intimate information regarding her sex life using the unnamed other man. Regardless of the bust-up, the feuding couple is actually together again. Isn't love sweet? Number 8. The jealous man who smashed his girlfriend's laptop, having seen a photograph posted on her Facebook page by her and suspecting cheating, even though it was just an image of Mitt Romney. A violent, overbearing boyfriend punched his girlfriend and smashed her computer after becoming jealous of the picture of Mitt Romney published on her Facebook page. He had accused her of cheating and having seen a mysterious man on her Facebook page. He was eventually charged with domestic assault and locked up. Number 9. The jealous girlfriend who stabbed a guy to death who was only texting his boss. In March 2015, a Bronx man texting his boss to tell him he'd be late for work was stabbed to death by his jealous girlfriend, who thought he was texting another girl. He was frequently stabbed in the torso during the fight by his girlfriend in their apartment. The battle started after he texted his manager to inform him he'd be late. The girl became enraged because she thought he was texting another girl. The innocent guy was pronounced dead at the hospital. The girl, that had no prior arrests, was arrested at the scene. This has been Jealousy, Guide to Overcoming the Green Monster of Envy and Jealousy. Written by Crystal Taylor. Narrated by Lynn Roberts. Copyright 2017 by Crystal Taylor. Production copyright 2017 by Crystal Taylor.
Jealousy, Workbook of Creating Trust in Your Relationship. Written by Kimberly Janvey. Narrated by Belinda Smith.
Chapter 1. Special Attention. To date, I've enlightened the planet with my ideas on jealousy and self-esteem. I wish to clear up any misunderstandings that could possess some males thinking that I'm targeting only women here. Jealousy and self-esteem issues may also imprison men in addition to women. Nobody is excluded from real human feelings. Feelings have no face, color, size, or gender. There's two victims here, not merely one, and everyone is vulnerable. I also believe that I've forgotten to reveal the way the other party involved that is affected with jealousy or self-esteem issues suffers as well. A relationship is really a partnership. It's a commitment made between a couple, and that will stay with one another throughout the years. Regrettably, when it's a jealousy issue, both sides are affected. We tend to pay attention to those who are stuck with their feelings. It's like they are in a prison because they are limited in their cognitive capabilities, but it's the victimized person who needs healing too. To become accused and mistrusted by your beloved is really difficult, along with a definite discomfort that some people cannot bear for any lengthy time. Accusations and false assumptions can be the undertone of a relationship, and that doesn't really make it pleasant, if you know what I mean. If you suspect someone of cheating, and you are pretty sure that they are, this is difficult too. Again and again, they struggle so hard to reassure you they deeply love you and they aren't interested nor lusting for other people. Once they try to let you know that it's all in your thoughts, they risk getting attacked more and more and get defensive. It's no doubt a vicious cycle. They become paranoid and it does not matter where they are, since you're already convinced they have tricked you in some manner. At some occasions, it takes a couple of days. Some occasions, it drops immediately. Nevertheless, they need to sit and wait and be worried about if this will drop. They fear this time they won't be able to say what they want. They fear will get much more depressed and irrational using what they are saying to all of us. They start to feel condemned when they do and condemned when they don't. Personally, I hate that feeling. That's the moment you want to reassess your relationship and run away as fast as you can. The neglect you put onto that individual using your jealous insecurities is as real for them as the feelings to be held in your prison of doubt. Doubt stinks. There are lots of reasons why jealousy grows stronger and stronger inside of people's minds, as well as the innocent ones that really don't ever do anything whatsoever to trigger that fear in the human body. Those are the innocent victims. For somebody that has begun to identify their issues and also has started to cope with them, I say, don't forget your partner is there for you. Everybody needs special attention, simply because they have shared your fears as well as your pains, but they still hurt inside. Jealousy can destroy a lot of good stuff in people's lives. It may destroy our relationship, and it can kill the main one factor that you simply love each other deeply. The worst part about this is that you simply take and don't give back. You have to stop. Can you have a gun and shoot your mate? No. So then why would you be allowing this emotion to torture the ones so close to you? Also, if they already tried to make up for the distrust, and if they have proven themselves to be trustworthy in so many ways, it may just be your own insecurity or background that causes the jealousy. Your partner loves you as much as you like them, and also, they might feel they have caused the effect of your trapped feelings which eat at them. To decide to just smile and feel completely loved means they are feeling better about themselves in that they're accountable for that smile. That's a good feeling altogether. When you're not happy, they might blame themselves for that a little. Also, take care not to fall under the practice of being unhappy through jealous feelings. Understand where they're originating from. Are you currently experiencing them because of a need to get noticed? Are you not receiving enough attention? Again, this can be an incorrect type of attention. If you fail to obtain the right attention you are feeling you're missing, then speak to your partner. Don't let jealous feelings dominate and confuse what you're saying. Any weakness in your thoughts is really a direct route to negativity and despair. After they make it happen, they work very rapidly at getting you to a negative state of mind. So be familiar with just what you're feeling. Hopefully, I've contributed some valuable ideas inside your mind in regards to what else is happening in your relationship that's affected by jealousy. Each of the two partners can experience sadness or distrust if one of them becomes overly suspicious. Don't forget to hug, to live, to love, and to laugh. Life is not all serious. One thought from me to you. Take risks. Take chances. Don't think that trusting others is always a bad thing. There are a lot of crooks, true, but there are a lot of trustworthy people out there too. Similarly, you can trust someone to be faithful in your relationship or to do as they're told, but maybe not to be completely honest or on top of things when it concerns something else. For instance, I have a mother-in-law whom I trust to not steal from people, but I don't trust her to be on time because she has shown in the past that she is not very punctual. I trust her to not yell at me because she's never done that, but I don't trust her to always be friendly because she has made some judgmental remarks. Becoming a better judge of character lies at the core of overcoming jealousy. Know what you can trust people to do and what you can remain suspicious about. Eliminating all suspicion would lead to nativity anyway. Chapter 2. Jealousy Problems in Marriage. Jealousy in marriage is destructive, a genuine relationship killer, and something individuals with common marriage problems should solve. In your soul, if you let feelings of jealousy develop and escalate, your brain will go wild. Think of the enemy around every corner. Question everything your lover thinks, states, and does. In worse scenarios, unresolved and unchecked jealousy might be going to the point of ending the relationship and eventually into long-term revenge schemes that lead to an unhappy life. Although we wish to deny it, many people have problems with jealous feelings at some stage in their lives, and, in marriage, it's certainly one of the most common marriage issues that can be cultivated from feelings of insecurity or neglect. We currently reside in a society where marriages are frequently broken because of another person, an affair, a pornography addiction, and therefore are, oftentimes, second or subsequent marriages. Case studies in society have confirmed this over and over again, and in some countries, 40% of all marriages end in divorce. Cheating has become something exciting to some people, and is sometimes even portrayed in TV shows as a secretive way to get more passion in life. People can enter marriages with the previously mentioned baggage, and when they do, it is often difficult to settle right into a secure relationship, having faith in an atmosphere filled with self-worth and self-belief. When we have had our trust broken in the past, it's harder to trust again. Maybe that's a good thing, so we don't always let people take advantage of us. But if it goes too far, or if we don't know who to trust, it can become a major problem. Marital jealousy comes from numerous situations, and regardless of how much you attempt and tell yourself there's no need for concern in your mind, you could be listening to that inner voice that tells you the husband or wife isn't faithful, thus instilling the same feelings into your heart again. These are some things to consider when you can't get rid of overly jealous feelings, or when you're too hard on yourself for feeling that way. Many people are natural flirts who draw to a potential partner like magnets, which, when the ring is around the finger, leaves partners totally insecure and merely waiting for being dumped for another person that may enter their circle of friends. The person who flirts frequently doesn't have any idea what impact their actions have on their relationship. He or she might not really believe that they're doing anything wrong, but see their actions as being friendly and never dangerous. Some people are really oblivious to this. Nobody could be charged with being unnecessarily jealous if they have proven themselves to be trustworthy over and over again. Some marriages survive an affair, and it is hard to say whether suspicion for another one is justified. Some people may have turned around completely with real sorrow for their previous infidelity, and others are incorrigible and should never be fully trusted. Following a divorce, children have to believe that the separation isn't because of anything they have done. This leaves parents overprotective, eager to make up for their failed relationship, and sometimes too eager to enter a new one. Another thing that can happen when being faced with common marriage problems is the fact that husbands feel neglected when an infant arrives regardless of how much they wanted the kid to begin with. An infant's mere arrival is completely life-changing, with increased attention for the child, along with a complete nosedive in marital relations. A wife has to recover, so sexual attention could diminish, and constant help and more things to do could complicate the matter. I have heard my father say literally, when the kids arrived, she didn't even give me any attention anymore. I was unimportant. The bond between mother and child may leave fathers feeling neglected, undesirable, and ignored. A mother can feel neglected because she is often alone with a child and doesn't receive as much attention from friends, family, and social situations. A lot of the time at the office, a partner can be feeling very insecure, particularly when your hours at work increase and you spend much less time in your home with your loved ones. I saw a Dr. Phil show once, and the husband worked for about 70 hours per week. His wife just wanted him home, but he said he was doing it for her. He didn't understand what she really wanted. People get fixated on their own goals and also have no concept about how this really is perceived or the way it impacts their relationship as well as their family life. With no 100% backing of both sides, lengthy hours and continuous travel can be a real relationship killer, and, if left unchecked, certainly one of individuals' common marriage problems from which there may be no return. Their email list is limitless, and jealousy by itself isn't a bad factor. It's a strong indication that you care. The primary factor we have to remember isn't to allow the jealousy to consume, cause rage, and become destructive. If you suffer from feelings of jealousy, consider this cause. Question your emotions and see when they have had a firm foundation, or they were just made out of fluff. Is the partner really doing anything wrong? Have they really done anything to cause your jealous feelings, or have you simply enabled your feelings to get out of hand? When the fault is on you, understanding how to recognize the truth is the initial step towards controlling this kind of emotional and destructive way of thinking. It enables you to definitely discuss your fears together with your partner, explain your feelings, and seek their help to overcome your jealous feelings, strengthen your marriage, and create a better image of the future. Communication may be the foundation to marital success. If you're able to learn how to communicate, you'll be able to express your feelings inside a non-confrontational, non-accusatory, understanding, and supportive atmosphere. Don't just let your fears out. For example, I think you're getting an affair may possibly not be true, and it'll just add fuel to the fire. Explain that something appears to be different in your relationship. Explain what's different about it and just what causes you to think your marriage has become that way. Don't blame, don't get emotional. Just show your partner what's going on, using your mind and seeking their assistance in an attempt to get it sorted out. Probably the most common marriage problem is expecting your partners to continually understand what we would like them to know and just how we're feeling. But just by having a ring on the finger, it doesn't mean we are always mind readers when we haven't conveyed our feelings and our partner doesn't know anything about them. If they don't know they've done something wrong, be nice about it and don't expect them to know without your communication. Let them know now. Save your valuable marriage before it's far too late. You have something to gain and you win. Whether or not the answer isn't what you would like to listen to, understanding is power, and with understanding comes the opportunity to turn your life around. I remember I had a boyfriend who was very jealous. When I talked to other guys, he would immediately show up and be a little helicopter. It was the most annoying thing ever, and his suspicion indicated that he didn't trust me. Eventually, this lack of trust caused us to break up. I didn't want to stay with a guy who assumed I was lying when I said I wasn't trying to flirt with other guys. Sometimes it's better to let things go and believe people.
Chapter 3. Control your jealousy. Jealousy is one thing that affects the lives of individuals across the nation. Even though it is natural to see periodic changes in one's envy, letting these negative feelings in can lead to disastrous conflicts inside your work life, family life, and romances. Listed here are a couple of methods for you to control your jealousy and keep it from ruining your life. The important thing to understand how to control jealousy would be to isolate yourself from the situation. For instance, let us say your neighbor purchases a new car and you're envious because yours is less attractive and fuel efficient. Oftentimes, over time, the reason why to be jealous will not matter at all. Will the truth that your neighbor got a better looking car than you at some point truly matter in 5 years or even 10? Understanding how to forget about material-based jealousy is a perfect method to begin living a happier, simpler life and think about the long run. A different way to control jealousy would be to improve your confidence. Among the greatest reasons for jealousy, in the end, insecurity is the biggest. Let us say your brother or sister has a better job than you. Coping with this understanding can put a massive damper on your confidence. You're insecure, miserable, and fearful you won't ever progress in your career. However, as you master to love yourself a little more, you are able to realize you have positive traits and attributes which help you contribute to your organization. Try making a summary of these abilities and attributes next time you are feeling insecurity pulling at your heart. Ensure that it stays inside a prominent place and employ it like an indication that you're helpful and dependable. Is the jealousy based on the actual partnership? A lot of couples have a problem with envy. A typical example is retrograde jealousy. That is when one partner is jealous of some other for having dated a lot more people before meeting their current partner. You may even receive an irrational, jealously fueled delusion that others are attempting to seduce your lover or that the partner will ultimately cheat on you. With regards to dealing with this type of jealousy, voicing your problem as quickly as possible is the easiest method to control jealousy. If you cannot exercise your emotions when you talk to your partner, try talking to a therapeutic counselor. She or he could be more qualified to hear each side of the story and suggest methods to ban the jealousy in your relationship before it causes an excessive amount of damage. Insecurity. Are you harboring grudges or getting into arguments? Are feelings of depression that make it hard to accomplish what you ought to do? If this describes you, don't give up hope. You are not entirely alone. In addition, overcoming feelings of jealousy and insecurity is not as difficult as it appears to be. It might appear to be easier said than done, but it is true. Jealousy and insecurity can last forever, but actually, its effects only continue for as long as you allow you to ultimately feel them. Oftentimes, your emotions of insecurity may convince you that you won't ever obtain a greater grade on your test, receive that promotion, or date the romantic crush you've always dreamt of. Sometimes, your jealousy may have you insisting that the one who achieved that which you wanted does not deserve their reward. You may also believe that they cheated or that they are simply lucky. It's hard to conceive when you do your best that someone else is more successful, better looking, or happier in life. No matter your reason for being jealous, your emotions of jealousy and insecurity can greatly cripple your day-to-day life. Keeping these feelings suppressed and unvoiced is extremely harmful indeed. It will not only harm your mental and emotional health, but the lingering results into stress and anger, which might even damage your physical health too. For this reason, talking about your issues before they become too severe is among the best means of overcoming jealousy, insecurity. I already mentioned this, but I cannot emphasize it enough. Talk, talk, talk. This can be done by contacting your friends and family. They can comfort and encourage you. They might even have the ability to offer suggestions about how to approach the problem that you simply never might have thought of by yourself. Even when they simply listen, getting this negativity off your chest can help significantly in working with it. Visiting a counselor regarding your insecurity is yet another good method, particularly if you feel your feelings are affecting you seriously. She or he might not always have the ability to provide you with professional, impartial advice, but your counselor might also find the main problem, like an event in your past that could have triggered this sort of feeling. Oftentimes, individuals who see therapists do not know how their jealousy arises from such occurrences. Once you understand why you have this sort of feeling of fear, frustration, or depression, you'll be able in the future to let the issue go. Chapter 4. Jealousy and Loneliness. Experiencing jealousy isn't fun. There's the overwhelming feeling that life just is not fair, the gnawing frustration, as well as periods of self-loathing. What lots of people don't understand is the fact that jealousy is not always a pretty feeling that's easily ignored. Like chronic depression, anxiety, or anger, it's a condition that needs to be treated in steps. Listed here are a couple of types of the best way to overcome your personal feelings of jealousy. The initial step is acknowledging that you're jealous. This is often hard for many because this means learning that the anger is not always righteous or fair. However, by realizing this, you can start the entire process of overcoming it. Over time, the epiphanies that derive from the method are ultimately as pleasing as learning that you simply were to harbor such feelings against someone else. Once you have recognized your jealousy, you're ready to dissect the problem. By doing this, you might find that your circumstances, while unfair and fairly upsetting, are inevitable. For instance, your coworker may get a commission or get promoted to some position you have been wanting. In such situations, simple blind luck could be the reason another person was selected rather than you. But it doesn't matter what the cause is. You have to leave them for what they are and stop comparing. In some instances, it might be something bigger than simple conditions that stored you against that which you desire. These scenarios are frequently harder to beat, as this is based on your own actions or lack thereof. For instance, you might not have been selected to play on the sports team since you simply did not play with enough concentration during tryouts. It's not hard to experience feelings of frustration or self-loathing when confronted with situations such as these. However, many can overcome their jealousy despite these failures by not giving up. While looking only at the situation as being a chance to improve yourself, you should use your jealousy like a motivational tool. Whatever the reason for your jealousy, it is vital that you do not obsess over what you think. In the end, life is simply too short to invest it wishing you had been different or moping over situations you cannot change. By looking at life in a more positive light, you'll be able to forget about your jealousy faster. Jealousy, as numerous men and women know, is an extremely hard emotion to manage, because it requires your stomach and twists it into knots before you scream for a release. The problem is that whenever we scream, it is almost always misinterpreted and frowned upon. People hate it when others are jealous. It makes them seem like losers who aren't changing their future but are simply complaining about it. It gets condemned, while those who are jealous actually just need empathy. When you are jealous, you experience a loss. You mourn over the fact that someone else seems to be doing better than you. Jealousy includes a mind of their own, which is sufficiently strong to create us belief and find out things that aren't even there or which have not happened yet. It is different from simply being suspicious. Jealousy can obscure our minds. Jealousy could make us worry and put the brain into a prison that people cannot escape. It locks the doorways and doesn't let us out until it really wants to. Jealousy will keep the brain from sleep since it recognizes that sleep causes us to be strong and will let us to battle it. It can have a bad effect on your health, and that makes it even harder. Jealousy knows no rational thinking. This makes it very difficult to get support from people around us, and harder to try and explain why we react once we do if we are plagued by this horrible emotion. Jealousy comes with a weakness, though, and that's love and trust, and ladies helping women to find methods to combat this nasty factor that grows within us. Jealousy is extremely connected, or might be even bred on by one's low self-esteem. But sometimes we just compare ourselves to others, and we don't like how fast they've progressed. And instead of condemning this feeling, try to embrace it and accept that life doesn't have to be fair and that we don't have to be that other person. We can progress at our own speed. Because people often condemn jealousy, it can come with loneliness. We wish someone else understood our loss or our sorrow. We wish for things we don't have, and others may just tell us to be grateful for what you have. This is a difficulty and pulls us down into the loneliest place. Imagine getting anxiety and your mouth is glued shut, which means you are not able to voice your pains and fears. This can be a small illustration of the way a person feels when their jealousy takes over. When they discuss it, they seem accusing and confrontational. Others feel they're being attacked for something they didn't do. It is actually a no-win situation for anybody involved. But to help keep it stuck inside only gives birth to an ugly seed of pain, frustration, agony, and real loneliness. It eats at our strength, causing us to be weak in our judgment of what's real and what's not. And this way, we can feel stuck. Why, I ask you? How did we become this person we didn't want to become? We broke no rules to get punished for. Whenever we take a look at someone else, we only see what we want to be. It blinds us from who we are and just what we have to offer around the world. It captivates the brain and produces terrible results. People think that you can just say, disappear. We want it to be that simple. If jealousy gets defeated by having a mere thought, we'd maintain in a really perfect world. Do people really think we do it on purpose? Of course not. We'd rather be happy, but it's hard to be, and that's something to be solved. Jealousy comes with one fear. That's love. Love conquers all, and that's just as real because the frustration we're feeling inside if we are imprisoned through the fears of jealousy is just as real too. If you notice someone is jealous, you need to be there for him or her. Loneliness is the hardest thing when someone is jealous. Friends and family who empathize with the person can help against the negative ideas and jealousy controls. We have to tell ourselves that we're safe, we're loved, and we're needed. We have to concentrate on the good around us and employ our thought energy to adopt positive ideas instead of negative ones. Whenever we do defeat our negative mind, we ought to pat ourselves on the backs, since this has been a real struggle. Recognize your efforts as you have won, and the win is going to be greater next time. We simply need to continue to look for methods to boost our self-esteem as well. Together, we'll conquer this loneliness. Strength is in us, and we now have the opportunity to take control over our emotions. Chapter 5. Psychological issues. Aside from low self-esteem, another reason jealousy issues are extremely prominent can be feelings of depression and hopelessness. For instance, let us say you did not obtain the raise you desired at work, or if you're self-employed, someone else might be making more money with their business, accelerating faster than you. Comparing is the big key. Stop comparing yourself to others and compare yourself to how you used to be. Even if you didn't make much progress in your own eyes, look at what you have learned over the years. Get over yourself and make things happen, instead of constantly wishing you were someone else. Now, how to do that? Well, the main point is to not be so hard on yourself and to accept that you don't have to be the best at everything. It's a false concept that gets taught in some cultures. Sometimes, coping with jealousy issues can take a great deal of time. However, you'll feel far better for getting this done. In regard to the psychological explanations of where jealousy comes from, you will be amazed at simply how much there's to understand. Research has shown that an essential part of overcoming jealousy is through more self-examination. Some of us get more competitive than others, but if you look at life, it doesn't really matter. I'll tell you a story. As a teenager, I was a little fanatic about basketball. I played it every day and got better and better. I was the best in class, one of the best ones in our city team, and often did all the funny tricks on outside court when the weather was good enough. After some time, I signed up for a basketball camp. All the previous NBA stars and WNBA stars I looked up to, suddenly appeared like insignificant nobodies to me. Why? Because some of the guys and girls at the camp were better than I was, but I had no respect for them. I lost my respect when they made arrogant comments, played dirty, or had the whole "look at me, I own the world" popularity attitude. I couldn't stand them. I certainly didn't look up to them. And at that moment, I realized I didn't care about someone's skills anymore. More about how nice of a person they were. My point is this: sometimes we look up to others, only to find out that we're happy to be who we are instead of trying to be someone else. I also realized our feelings of jealousy all come from something we call ego. Why do we have to be the prettiest, the richest, or the most skillful? Why can't we be happy for others and be content with ourselves? Who whispers in our ear that we're not good enough, that we can never be satisfied about life? I am telling you to tell that voice to shut up. It's not you. You are good enough. Though we should always strive to do better, this striving itself is what counts, not always the results. If you've been abused, bullied, or somehow have experienced the ugly nature of some human beings who call themselves that, it's hard to resist the urge to seek revenge, to stand out, or to show them they are wrong about you. But have you ever considered their opinion doesn't matter? Screw them. Who cares what other people think? You don't have to make everyone like you. The most successful people often have the most haters. You can be yourself and progress at your own pace. If you're a better person today than you were yesterday, you've made progress. If you're not, then start working on that. The heck with people who tell you they made $20,000 because they were smart enough to figure out the system. The heck with those who seem to laugh at you because you have bigger boobs, a younger face, or more successful kids. All these people have problems too, and even if they have less problems, that doesn't matter. You have to work on yourself. Careful whom you choose to be your role models. Some of these phonies have as many complicated circumstances as anyone, but are afraid to reveal it. I've read that some of the highest suicide rates in Japan and South Korea, 2 countries in which saving face is an important concept. Even though these countries are highly developed and comparatively rich, it seems like the big problem is that everyone is measuring up and trying to be perfect. The message, "You're never good enough," has certainly caused the occasional citizen of these countries to take their life. Stand up for what's right and counter the world's trend of constantly showing off. You don't have to be impressive to be a good person, or even an impressive person. I usually spot people fast who are sincere, honest, intelligent, or selfless, not the ones who just know a lot, earned a lot, or performed well. Some of the latter mentioned ones can have huge egos, messed up social lives, or malicious intentions. And even if they don't, what makes you think you have to be them? You don't. You have potential. Now make it happen. Chapter 6. Self-Esteem. Once you have given your confidence levels a boost, you will find that it's not hard to conquer low self-esteem and jealousy. In the end, simply because another person got that which you wanted does not imply that you will never get it either. Rather than letting jealousy bog you down, use this as a chance to consider a brand new method to your objectives or just continue to work harder. I know of a millionaire, one in particular that I met, who is still obsessed with making fun of another millionaire who earns more. It's sad to see, but even with about $1 million in his bank account, the first guy can't seem to be happy because he is frustrated about the other guy's success. Do you think he's going to be happy when he reaches the other guy's income level? Of course not. Self-esteem lies at the core of jealousy, so to fix the issue, the core needs to be considered. It's hard to admit it, but we all struggle with it sometimes. I discussed several methods in previous chapters already. Group treatments are another effective way for coping with jealousy. These kinds of meetings provide you with the benefit of having a supportive audience to tell your troubles to. Additionally, you can discover more on how to feel free by helping others. It doesn't matter what method you select to get past your jealousy, you'll be able to unwind with the understanding that you're growing like a person and improving your life. Many of my friends have gone to group meetings for porn addictions, rage issues, or other relationship problems, and almost everyone comes back with a positive feeling after having gone to these meetings. Some tips to grow your self-esteem. Don't be a perfectionist. Compare yourself only to yourself. Get on a healthy diet. Create something, whether it's art, content, music, or something else. Be proud of past accomplishments and humble enough to keep learning. Live your purpose. Silence your inner critic. More suggestions and elaborate explanations of some of these are in the book titled Self-Esteem for Women. This has been Jealousy, Workbook of Creating Trust in Your Relationship, written by Kimberly Janvey, narrated by Belinda Smith. Copyright 2017 by Kimberly Janvey. Production copyright 2018 by Kimberly Janvey.